Just a pile of junk. No idea what the river's called. A fortune teller's business card. Madame Fortuna. You'll see your future. And her phone number.
Mr. Jones from the law firm Jones & Partners.
Hello, Mr. Jones. Darren Michaels here. I was told you wanted to speak to me?
Ah, Mr. Michaels, yes. The investigations are stagnating, rather. As long as there's no evidence for the allegations brought against you, you can't be charged. So that's good. On the other hand, your fellow countrymen want to step into the ring, too. The American embassy is on our backs. That's not so good.
And what does that mean exactly?
Well, that you're going to have to sit tight in Willow Creek for quite a while. Inspector Spooner's investigation methods. You implied the last time that you weren't too happy with them?
Yes. It seems to me that Spooner isn't really bothered anymore.
Inspector Spooner just wanted to produce a guilty party and then get the case closed as soon as he could. He has to produce results so that he can get back to London. But he's rather used up all his ammo. Now he's hoping that the embassy will take the case off him so that he doesn't have to chalk it up as a failure.
So he doesn't really seem to be interested in the truth.
Well, the truth, Mr. Michaels, as is generally known, is the invention of a liar. But the fact you've got bail is a good sign. And that someone's been found to pay for it is even better. Perhaps you should have a look yourself, now that you've been released, for some clues or slip-ups in the investigation. Would be best if you could get a copy of your file.
Are you convinced that I'm innocent, Mr. Jones?
Of course, Mr. Michaels. Do you think I could represent you if I wasn't? Nevertheless, we should hurry up and find some solid evidence to prove it.
This somebody who you maintain means well has paid the bail anonymously. Can you find out who it was?
No problem. But it'll take a couple of days.
How long do I have to put up with this psychotherapy?
You're gonna have to hang in there for a few more rounds at least. It's in your best interest.
The last assessment was rejected. What good can it do?
Forget about the authorities. You ever thought that you might actually need therapy?
Do you think I'm crazy?
Aren't we all? But seriously, Mr. Michael, try and do something about your mental condition. If you end up having to face a lawsuit in the States, your family's mental history isn't going to impress the jury one bit. So stop blocking shots and come out from behind your guard, man.
You said I should have another look at my file. Is it really so easy to do that?
Well, it depends on the inspector in charge. But if you flatter him a little, he might let you have a look. Otherwise, I could request a copy and send it on to you.
That's gonna take too long. I'll try to get my hands on it myself. Mr. Jones, did you find out anything about my identity? The police here don't seem to be putting any effort into it.
Yes. Concerning your identity, Mr. Michaels, it's hard to prove anything at the moment. Find documents, birth certificates, that kind of thing. But don't forget to go to your therapy sessions.
Whatever. I'll be in touch.
Keep your head up. Attack is the best form of defense.
That's Chief Inspector Spooner, the man that made the last 3 weeks of my life a living hell. A real ray of sunshine. Do you have a moment, Inspector?
If you're quick.
Why do you dislike me?
I'm a cop. You're a criminal.
Come on, Little bit of friendliness never hurt anyone.
Miss Valley was friendly.
It wasn't me! How many times do I have to tell you? My doctor, Winterbottom, has she been living in Willow Creek for long?
She moved here 10, 12 years ago.
Why? Because of the murders?
Ask her yourself.
What was it that brought you here?
I don't know what that's got to do with you.
What about your partner? He seems really busy.
Zach. He's not my partner, he's my constable. And yes, he's got lots to do, so don't disturb him.
And you really don't know who paid my bail?
It's paid to the court, not to me. I just got a letter from them saying I should let you go.
The guy in the other cell,
Is a paragon of virtue.
what did he do?
He beat up annoying little Americans. Should I let him out?
All right. This here village, Willow Creek, are there many criminals here?
Only since you turned up.
Does that mean it was quieter before? Not even a little bit of shoplifting?
Just normal village life. Punch-ups, rape, and drink driving.
So pretty much nothing happening. Can I have a look at my file?
Why? Have you forgotten something you've done?
Apart from the fact that it wasn't me?
No, you can't have a look.
Could you make me a copy of it then?
Of course not. That's a police file.
Why should I want to set fire to the castle?
Well, it could be because you were shipped off to America as a kid and had a miserable life there. Until you found out that you'd been taken for a ride your whole life. Then you came back to England to take revenge on your family.
What a load of crap.
So you finally admit it. It's all total bollocks. That's exactly why you have to see Dr. Winterbottom. And I'm gonna make sure that there are a lot more doctors taking care of you all day for the rest of your life. I can tell you why it was you. Because you're bloody mad. A nutter. You're obsessed with being a Gordon. A descendant of a murderous clan. It's some kind of justification for your irrational desire to burn and set fire to things. You pyromaniac.
It was Lewis. Damn you.
Oh yeah, the gardener. Then find him. He's disappeared without a trace since you've been here. Have you got him weighing on your conscience too? Spit it out.
Have you found out anything about my ancestry?
Yep, I've got a copy of Darren Michael's birth certificate here. Born on the 27th of February 1970 in Boston, Massachusetts.
And what about Adrian Gordon?
He's still dead in the Gordon crypt. That's what it says in the death certificate signed by Dr. Heinz Herman. Cause of death, 5th degree burns.
5th degree? In other words, only his ashes are left. How convenient. That's all for now.
I'm keeping my eye on you.
A piece of thin board. Ah, it's a menu. They probably don't need it anymore.
Jones and Partners Chambers.
They're so absorbed in the conversation that they don't even notice me. Perhaps it's better that way. I'll have time to sit there when I'm old. The windows have colored plastic stuck on them. It's hard to make out anything. Is that Tom's underwear hanging out to dry? Nope. Cloths. They aren't particularly clean, but I wouldn't expect anything else from Tom's pub. You know? I'm glad I drank bottled beer last time I was there. Murderous greetings from Willow Creek. The usual postcards and brochures. It says 3 kegs, probably of beer. You can hardly make out what used to be written there, but I assume that nothing edible has ever been served here, at least since Tom inherited the pub. Anyone want to buy an E? It looks like it hasn't been used for a very long time. I'm about to change that. That's Tom's pub. I think he's still a bit angry because I left him in the swamp. And stole his car. They look really pathetic, but still better than cheap plastic ones. Flower vase or coffee cup? Probably both. This is the best seat in the house, with a view of the village square. Unbelievably thrilling. You can watch the moss growing between the paving stones. Looks comfortable, unlike the chairs. The sugar's empty. Photos of parties here in the cafe. I really didn't think they celebrated anything here in Willow Creek. I think the door leads into the storeroom. At least that's what this sign suggests. Coffee in all its guises, from mocha to Irish coffee. The list of teas is still twice as long, though. Kinda weird. Lots of the people in the photos have been murdered. Shame. No donuts left. At last, a ray of sunshine. I was beginning to think there were only gross-looking guys with alcohol problems living in this dump. Hi,
I know. I recognize you from the newspaper.
And you're not gonna run away screaming?
I'd have a lot of running to do if I ran away from every weirdo in this dump.
You really like living here, huh? Has anything exciting happened recently?
Apart from the fire at the castle? Wait a minute. Yeah, the espresso machine broke down.
Has this cafe been here long? I've never noticed it before.
We were closed during the fair this year.
Is it even worth having a cafe here in the village?
You'll have to ask my dad. It's his cafe. Why do you ask? Do you want to open one too?
Yeah, sure. Right next door. A Black Mia special cafe with ritual blood cappuccino and latte morbidato.
Good idea. Could have come from Murray.
By the way, I'm Darren. Or Adrian Gordon. Take your pick.
I'm Denise, or the one who's got no time for insane arsonists. Take your pick.
Wow. I think I prefer Denise.
All right then, Darren.
So, what's a young woman like you doing in a place like this? Not one for city living?
Hell yeah. I'm just waiting for the right moment.
You mean when the twice-yearly bus to London stops here?
Something like that.
Are you out of donuts?
No, there are some in the storeroom, but they're reserved for the nice inspector. He buys them here every morning.
Of course. And what if I want one too?
Then bake one yourself.
When does the inspector usually come in?
He should have been here to pick up his donuts ages ago. He's probably been delayed by the scum of the earth. Again.
Phew, nice description.
That's what Conrad calls his clientele, not me.
Conrad?
Conrad Spooner. That's what the inspector's called. Didn't you know?
I'd like a coffee, black.
Coming up.
Okay, I've got to come up with something that's gonna make Spooner hang out here in the cafe for a while. A high-performance chest freezer with a glass lid. Not a lot in it. A pack of tart bases. Oh, and a box of ice cream. Mint and chocolate. The seal is in really bad shape. If it gets wet, you probably wouldn't be able to get the chest open anymore. It's cold enough in here. I'll close the thing again. A shelf full of stock for the cafe. What have we got here? Coffee, tea, juice, milk. Ah, and a package of donuts. A wash bucket filled with, dirty water. The sponge is dripping now. I don't want to be carrying it around with me for too long. It would get rather unpleasant. Those have to be the donuts specially reserved for Spooner. Now it's open again. I'll put the box of donuts in a nice visible spot in the freezer. I'll wet the sealing rubbers with the wet sponge. If you close the freezer now, the water will freeze and it'll be almost impossible to open it again without defrosting the whole thing. Farewell, you donuts. Nobody's gonna be getting you out of there in a hurry. Now that ought to slow down the inspector's donut order somewhat.
Another one of these flat days today. I could really do with something to lift me up a little.
Edward could come along at any time. Better if we wait till this evening.
Sod Edward. Give me a A couple of donuts at least.
Yeah, sure. I'll get you some. Conrad, your donuts seem to have ended up in the freezer.
Yeah? They can't you bung them in the oven for a bit?
The problem is, the lid's frozen solid.
Ah, I get it. You want me to help you warm up your frozen chest?
I think those two are gonna be busy for a while. Constable Zach seems okay. Plays by the letter of the law and all that. Can I ask you something briefly? Do you believe I set fire to the castle?
Well, Mr. Michaels, you claim to be Samuel Gordon's son, and you were at the scene of the crime with a smoldering torch in your hand.
I had that to defend myself with.
Against the mysterious secret order that nobody knows about and nobody's seen?
It's mentioned in the Gordon Chronicles.
500 years ago.
Forget it.
And then there was the thing with poor Miss Valley, right? We found your tracks at the scene of the crime.
I told you, forget it. Spooner, your inspector, is he always so nice?
I don't know. He was in the homicide department in London until half a year ago. Then, he got redeployed here as a punishment.
That explains a lot.
Since then, he's tried everything to get back out of here. He locks people up for the smallest of misdemeanors. Good for the statistics, you see.
And you can't do anything about it?
What does a bear do about the winter? He rows himself up and sleeps until the spring comes.
Can you make a copy of my file and send it to my lawyer?
Didn't he get one ages ago?
He, wants to have the current version for the embassy.
Not possible.
Something wrong?
I'd forgotten. The copier gave up the ghost a few weeks back, but there's a new one on order.
Are you being serious?
It's not so bad. I have so little to do here, I could type up most of the documents.
I understand. So, would you be so kind as to type my file?
No.
And what if I fix that thing?
All right then, you go and see what you can do with it.
How long are you gonna look for Angelina?
She'll be deemed missing until we find her.
Even if she's long since dead?
We haven't found a body yet, Mr. Michaels.
How involved were you in the investigation of my case?
I searched the sewer system and the bunker.
And you didn't find any clues?
No.
That just can't be true.
It's bloody dark down there, Mr. Michaels, and full of rats. Not for the faint-hearted.
Is there anything new on the kidnapping? Have you spoken to Tom, Bobby, or the kid in Wales?
According to the statement, Tom was at Alton Towers with Bobby at the time.
And you don't find it a little bit strange that those two went to a theme park?
The only strange thing was that Bobby was in hospital for 2 days afterwards with concussion. But we've got a medical certificate that proves that.
And what if Tom was lying?
We can't prove it. He had 2 tickets for the theme park and the paperwork from the hospital.
Damn. And the boy?
There's no one called Van Helsing in Wales.
Goodbye, Constable.